What's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Dev and the Bear. Today we're going to be talking about these past Fury fights, and then we're going to be talking about the last UFC fights, and then we're going to go into the next UFC fights. So to get started, we got to see a bunch of our friends fight, and it was very exciting. Jordan Plutine, who we've met through Jordan Leeson over at Houston Strength, he got a rear naked choke, and that dude is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's a freak of nature athlete who seems to be good at anything he tries to do. Because as far as his striking goes, he's real crisp, real explosive, and then you see him on the ground, and that's how he won, was rear naked choke, and it's just really exciting to watch him go anywhere in the fight.
Yeah, for sure. It was a really quick rear naked choke finish as well, though, man. It was, you see this guy, and he's an absolute unit. He's a tank, and he just goes in there and does exactly what he's going to do. He knows how he's going to win the fight, and he just makes it his immediately, you know. So that backflip also, can't forget about that.
Yeah, he had a clean backflip.
Yeah, the thing was, it was scary at first. I was like, oh man, is he gonna do it? And he did it. I was like, oh, what the hell? But it was fun though, man. But also another performance we were really happy to see was Oliver Jimenez get a first round knockout. Yeah, man, that was just as crisp as you can get with his striking.
Yeah,
he's just so much fun to watch, you know.
And we got to see him get taken down, put on his back, and I've always been kind of curious how he'll handle that, and he seemed to handle it just fine. He stayed calm, and then whenever he got out of it, he was real quick to take advantage of the holes that the guy left there for him to get out of it. It was great.
Yeah, that flying knee to the punch to drop him, and then just knocked him out cold. I think Mike Jackson on his Instagram, Shits and Giggles brand, I think it is, right?
Yeah,
and he actually has a picture of when Oliver lands the knockout punch. It's a brutal punch. It's a really just hard right hand right to the face. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
I think Yves Edwards posted it saying, got your nose.
Got your nose. And so, but yeah, it was a good fight. And so we were really happy to see that. And there's also some good fights we want to talk about too, was Justice Torres winning by decision against Eric Mercado.
Yeah, I think that was probably or possibly the most exciting fight of the night. That was very back and forth. Anytime it was on the feet, Justice was in and out with his punches, his combinations, and he looked really good. He threw a lot of really clean kicks. And Mercado, his Muay Thai is really good.
Yeah. And
then when he's on his back, that's when things would get interesting, because you know he's going to be attacking for submissions, and he did. But Justice was able to kind of stay clear of that, and then he ended up getting the win. But that was a really fun fight.
It was, though. They were back and forth, man. You definitely saw Justice have to use his fight IQ to really get him that win as well, going against a taller fighter. And I know training with Oliver Jimenez probably helps with that a lot as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm certain.
Yeah. And so when I saw the guy, I was like, you know, he probably was training with Oliver a lot for this one.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, though, because you look at their opponents, they kind of like the same stature of them, you know?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it was another good fight, though. I mean, I was really excited to see that. And we saw Josh Van get a first round knockout over Paris Moran. In second round, I believe. Second round knockout over Paris Moran. But I mean, that dude is fast, though, dude.
Yeah, he's another real explosive. He actually trains at Aslan Boxing, which is where Carlos Nava got his start. We've talked with Ivan Vasquez from Aslan Boxing over there. It's a really good boxing gym. That's where Josh Van works on his hands at, and it pays off.
Yeah,
it pays off.
Yeah. That dude was the second he heard him, it was nonstop after that. So yeah, so it was another good Fairy card. If you ever see us there, come out, say hi. We're always more than happy to talk with anybody about fights or just shoot the shit with, really. And also, UFC Fight Pass, tune into them. They're good local fights, especially if you're from the Houston area. You see a lot of guys that from the area that are really making a name for themselves on the MMA scene. So yeah.
Yeah, we also got to see Nico Echeverry win. That was a really dominant decision win that he got against, I think, Nicholas Compton.
Was that a 30-26, they said?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
I know for sure there was 30-27.
Basically, anytime you look at that fight, any second of that fight, what you're going to see is Nico on top with ground and pound. Yeah. It was very dominant.
Yeah, he was controlling him, and it was another good one as well. So, yeah, but definitely check those fights out, man. They're a lot of fun to watch. It was really cool seeing Oliver get the knockout that, you know, show his potential. That dude is, I expect great things out of that dude. He has the work ethic. He has the team around him as well. I mean, and he's done some great things so far, so I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to the next one with him.
Yeah, for sure. But that brings us to the UFC fight.
Yep,
that happened Saturday. We'll get to the main event in just a second. There were some pretty solid knockouts throughout that entire card, but the two on the prelims that I was really happy with were the Josh Quinlan knockout of Jason Witt, and then the Tyson Nam knockout of Ode Osborne. Ode threw that flying knee, and just missed, and Tyson Nam took advantage of it and put him down with an overhand right.
Yeah.
That was freaking bad.
It's whenever you see Tyson Nam fight as well, though, it's pretty clear what he's looking to do. He wants to hit you with that right hand.
Yeah.
He doesn't really hide it. I mean, you've heard, if you watch any of his fights, you hear the commentators talk about it. His teammates have talked about it as well. That dude has like serious power in that right hand. And O'Day dropped his guard for the flying knee when he was coming down, and Tyson Nam took the read and he went all the way in with that right hand and he folded him with it. It was a nasty knockout. It was definitely a fun fight between those two. I mean, one of the things that we were kind of talking about the fight before I came over and watched it with you was like I think O'Day opened up with some body kicks, some teeps to the body, and then like DC goes on about it for like a whole fucking minute.
I don't understand what DC's issue was with Michael Bisping saying that that Tyson fan was smiling because it may not have hurt.
Yeah.
But DC started freaking out and like, no, those hurt. You know those hurt. Those hurt. There's no way those don't hurt. He's smiling because he's faking it. And I'm like, no. There's potentially possible that they didn't hurt, and that's why Tyson Nam is smiling. I don't understand how you could argue or deny that something is possible.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of, I don't know, like for me, it's like whenever the fight's happening, sometimes they kind of get off topic of what's going on in front of them, and it's like these are two great flyweights that make the flyweight division great. Is these two, it's like certain fighters like these guys, and I mean, it's like we need to focus on what's going on in front of us, not about did that kick hurt him or not. Maybe ask him after the fight, not discuss it while it's going on.
Fights, like we're still gonna have to listen to you, so just do it in between fights.
But yeah, exactly. And so also though, shout out to Josh Quinlan for not going for that second punch whenever he knocked out Jason Witt.
He stopped just like right in front of his face.
Yeah, he saw him and realized he was out, and he stopped what he was doing. He's like, let me just not throw that other bomb, which was really cool. You don't really see that very often because MMA is a very brutal sport.
Yeah.
And so I was like, damn, that's some class, So I saw a lot of people on social media. I was giving him respect for doing that. So, but yeah, the main card though, it was a good main card.
Gerald Mearshart stopped throwing punches on someone that he dropped.
Yeah.
And then got a guillotine on Bruno Silva. He dropped him. I was pretty impressed with that because Mearshart's never one to back down from striking with somebody. But obviously his strength is in his grappling. So whenever he was striking with Bruno Silva, which most of the fight was striking.
Right.
And he ended up dropping him. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And then he got him in a guillotine. I was like, that makes sense. That's the Gerald Mearshart I know.
Yeah, his hands actually looked pretty good, though.
They did.
They actually had some pretty good stand-up. I was surprised to see how Gerald Mearshart... I like Bruno Silva, though. So this was a fight I was looking forward to whenever it got booked. And I expected Bruno Silva to give Mearshart a lot more trouble on the feet than he did. Like I expected that to be like Bruno stuff, and then Mearshart's gonna obviously try to get to the ground, but he stayed in there with him the whole fight on the feet, and he actually dropped him. I was like, what the hell's going on? But it was a good finish. I mean, I think Mearshart has a chance to finish someone by TKO. I think he's still gonna find a way to get that submission if he can. That dude is a jiu-jitsu wizard. He's so much fun to watch on the ground, and he did what he did. But it was a good fight though. It was a really, really good one. And some more fights on that fight card that we talked about. Not really going in any specific order. Nate Landwehr versus David Onama. That was a really fun fight.
Yes, that was a very fun fight. If you're a Nate Landwehr fan, that first round, David Onama had moments.
Yeah. And
I think that round could have gone either way. But after that, it was all Nate Landwehr.
Yeah, I give that round to I gave it to David Onama. I think he kind of decisively won that one. He ended it well,
and I think he had enough moments throughout the round to take it.
Yeah.
So I would too. But after that round, it was obvious who had more energy.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Nate Landwehr had a lot of... He's a fighter. I mean, he's not the most prettiest technical fighter. I mean, but at the end of the day, he's a dog, though. And, fighters like that, like, we have to appreciate. Because you just never really know where they're going to go. But it's very special to watch him fight. Because it's like, this is the type of fights people want to see. And no matter what, he'll always try to put that kind of fight on, Like, that dude could have finished David Onama on the ground at any moment if he really wanted to.
He just kept standing up.
Cheering on the crowd, getting them going. Yeah. And so I was like, man, but then what's it called? But I think David Onama, he's pretty fresh into the UFC. So, I mean, he'll learn a lot, see what he needs to do and stuff. Right. And some things that he needs to work out, like James Krause told him not to try to go for the takedown in the second round. And immediately that's what he tried to do. But I mean, it's just all about, if you're not losing, you're not learning kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so Nate Landwehr, he called out Shane Burgos after the fight, which, funny enough, today, Monday, has been announced that Shane Burgos has signed with the PFL, which kind of sucks because I really like Shane Burgos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to like look into what happened between him and the UFC, but I'm really surprised at that.
So I was watching the MMA Hour with Errol Houani where it got announced, and there was no bad blood. He just said, for a financial move, it was just better for him to go to the PFL, which you really can't hate on a guy that gets punched in the face for a living to decide to
Make more money.
Exactly, make more money and just do what's best for him. Yeah, doing the same thing, and he's still fighting top caliber fighters over there as well. They might not be the top of the UFC or anything like that, but guys like Chris Wade and Brendan Loughnane, who are actually fighting, I believe, this week, right?
Yeah, I think this weekend.
And so, I mean, guys like that, those are tough fights to pick up, go up against. But he said he also is going to be more in the lightweight division as well over there. So, what are some other fights that happened before?
We had Priscilla Cachoeira get the TKO.
Yeah.
There were some other ones. There was the Yasmin Jauregui.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I think it was her debut, and she beat Yasmin Lucindo. And that was a pretty solid fight. They were both throwing down. Yeah. Lucindo was definitely going for that knockout the whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
It was very back and forth. I was pretty happy with that fight.
It was a fun fight.
But that was the fight right before the co-main event, which is Nate Landwehr.
Right.
And that fight kind of made me forget about a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to look back on the rest of the card after seeing such a fight like that. Yeah. But the Lucindo fight was a lot of fun to watch. We saw
Devin Clark get TKO'd.
Yeah, Devin Clark get TKO'd. That was pretty hard to watch because we like Devin Clark, but I mean, it's just all about just certain the other fighter he was able just to pick up off whatever mistakes that were out there.
You could tell there was one guy sticking to fundamentals and there was one guy trying to do some fancy stuff and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And he never adapted to it, so he ended up losing.
Yeah. So on to the main event though. We had Chito Vera defeat Dominic Cruz by a pretty vicious head kick.
Yeah.
In the fourth round. Dude, it was a fun fight though. Like I was enjoying it. I was watching it. Dominic Cruz looked like vintage Cruz, with his footwork and his overhand rights and overhand lefts. And then you had Chito Vera. Like when it came to the exchanges, Chito seemed like he was winning the exchanges, but Dominic Cruz was winning in the with the counters and everything like that. He just seemed to be one step ahead. But with Chito Vera, is like you have to realize like this dude's a fucking killer though, dude. Like it's one of those things where like he just kind of calculates his shots. He's very much like, I'm going to wait for my time to throw this strike right there. And I actually watched a little bit of his post-fight interview, a press conference, and he said that Jason Prillo sent him a picture of how Dominic ducks his head to the right a lot. Like, and he does a lot. Like, the one thing I don't know, when it came to Dominic Cruz, like he always beat all my favorite fighters. So I've never been a fan of him, but I've always respected how good he is though. Like he's very, very good. There's a reason why he was the best bantamweight champion of all time, and but it's like, with him ducking his head down a lot, if you go back and watch his previous fights, he does that a lot. And so when Chito said he got the picture, he already knew what he had to do. Like he's like, that's going to be a big opening, and it was a huge opening in that fourth round. So
I definitely agree. I feel like every shot that Chito Vera takes or throws is one that he's watched you and he knows this one will land.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily have to put all my power into it, but when I do, it's going to knock you out.
Yeah.
And we've seen that so many times. We've seen it with Frankie Edgar. I mean, I know he didn't knock out Rob Font, but I feel like if Rob Font were anybody else, he would have. And the shots that he threw on Rob Font, like, how many other fights are you going to see one guy land half the shots as the other guy and him win by decision?
Right.
But it's because of that. He calculates every shot he throws, and I feel like he did really well with that on Dominic Cruz, because anytime he would land, he knocked him down. And you could tell that Dominic had to like kind of clean himself up real quick because he knew he was still pretty shaken up from it.
Yeah.
But that head kick one, yeah, there's not much you can do about that.
Not at all, no.
Caught you right on the face.
Yeah, broke his nose. It was what's called, I think leading into that, there have been 4 knockdowns in the fight.
Yeah. It was almost like one each round, and then 2 in one in the third round.
Yeah. And so like it seemed like anytime he touched Chito Vera, other way around. Chito Vera touched him, it hurt, like you said. And whenever the knockdowns were happening, I'm like, man, like this dude hits like a fucking truck. Like he doesn't put a lot into it. Or just he knocked him down with a jab at one point. And And so whenever he got the head kick knockout, I was like, dude, that's fucking brutal. And I actually saw a, a Facebook comment that was like, I'm just happy that Cheeto Vera went in and beat him up till he was out cold, because I don't want to hear Dominic Cruz have to dispute another finish again.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny, but like, just be real, Dominic Cruz does that a lot though. Like anytime
who was the ref? Was it Herb Dean?
Not in this fight. In the last fight, you're talking about the fight when
no, because I was gonna make a joke about Keith Peterson.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't Keith Peterson this time, so he's got no excuses.
No excuses at all. And he was also out cold. That was a rough knockout, dude. He got up and he was still disoriented.
I'm thinking
it was Herb Dean. It was
Herb Dean.
Yeah,
okay. I'm thinking our thumbnail should be the face.
And so whenever he kicked him, dude, and so he went in there, he got the finish, and then Dominic Cruz is like up on his trying to stand up, and Herb Dean's just watching him, and then Dominic Cruz falls again. I was like, why? Like, my thing is, I saw the ref, like Herb Dean right next to him. I was like, why are you not helping him out? Like, just sit here and gather yourself.
Maybe he was just like, hey, you talked a lot of crap about a lot of refs lately.
Yeah, it's like, motherfucker,
you got this one right. You can get up, right?
Come on, do I smell like alcohol and cigarettes? I'll just take a step back. Yeah, he definitely like. So he stood up, and I mean, you see Dominic just trying to like kind of get his footing back, and like shake out the cobwebs, and he's just standing there. I'm like, man, like this is kind of sad to see though, because Dominic is a legend of the sport, especially the bantamweight division. So it was tough to watch, but I was like, man, that was such a good knockout though. So
I'm tired of seeing the legends get knocked out.
Yeah,
tired of it.
They're getting slept brutal too. Like you just name them, they just keep like
Frankie Edgar, Dominic Cruz, Tony Ferguson. It's getting bad, guys.
Yeah, it's like I feel like we're kind of reminiscing on when Chuck was getting knocked out all the time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's like, man, like I remember watching Chuck get knocked out against Rich Franklin, like watching that live, and I was like, this is so sad.
and he had just like rocked Rich Franklin and broke his arm.
Yeah.
Then he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
You've got to be freaking kidding me.
Like, oh, dude, I remember I was at a house party watching that. I was like 14, and the whole house was like quiet after he got knocked out the way he did. I was like, Jesus, dude, fuck this shit, man. But yeah, so with Cheeto Vera, what do you think's next?
Either title shot or Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Whichever comes first, whichever lines up first.
Right. I think a title shot should be next. I
think
really
so too.
like. I think
I don't think he needs another fight with Aldo. I don't. I'm just saying Aldo's come back up.
Yeah.
Cheeto Vera's come back up, and if the title shot can't happen sooner,
yeah,
have them fight for who gets the title shot.
That's what. So Cheeto Vera's last loss was to Jose Aldo.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think like I don't want to see them fight again.
Yeah.
Because it'd be cooler to see him win the title and then Aldo fight him for the title.
Yeah, because
that'd be cooler, but it just depends on the title situation.
Yeah, because you have Aljamain taking on TJ.
Yeah,
and then you have Jose taking on Merab, and then
that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's actually where we're about to get into that too. And so
true. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so you also have but Jan's kind of out of the title picture right now because he's taking on Sean O'Malley. So I mean, if I don't think a win should give him a title shot with Petr Yan, and if he were to win, I mean, you're fighting number 11.
I understand it. Like, okay, you beat Yan, top 5 guy, and then title shot. I get that.
Yeah, but it's called like with if Sean was to win though, if they gave him a title shot, I wouldn't be surprised. Like,
I wouldn't either. It's Sean O'Malley.
I wouldn't even be mad about it, to be honest with you. No, I mean, you just beat the former champ.
It is Yan. I get it. But you beat one top guy.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
I mean, it's called. I wouldn't be upset with it though. It would make sense to give him a title shot. I mean, getting a win over Petr Yan's a big deal. You know.
How about if it's like a decision? And I know we're getting off topic, but what if it's like a decision that should not have gone towards Sean O'Malley?
Then I'd be pretty pissed. I'd be like, yeah, no, he doesn't. Maybe he's somebody else.
It's all circumstantial in the end.
And Corey Sandhagen's tied up as well. It's another bantamweight people are kind of forgetting about right now. He's fighting Song Yadong soon. So I think Cheeto's best bet. I wouldn't be upset if he got a title shot. I'd be okay with it. You know, what he's doing to guys is pretty fucking crazy. He's going in there and he's just, you look at his past 3 opponents, man. You know, hey, look, after they fight him, it's nuts. It's like, you know, so it was like whenever people did the same thing with Tony Ferguson.
Dude, the freaking similar train of thought. The last 4 opponents of Cheeto Vera and like how they looked after that fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Bad. Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, they look like they were in a car accident. Yeah. Like they look like they got fucked up by a coffee pot. That shit's rough. So, but yeah, I'm all with Cheeto getting a title shot after this one, though. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's up. But this weekend, UFC 278 happening, headlined by Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards, happening with a rematch now, and things have changed a lot since that rematch.
Yeah, I think both fighters have grown a lot. Kamaru isn't just a wrestler; he's got striking.
Yeah.
It's weird striking. It's a little sloppy sometimes, but it always works.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for that one. As far as the early prelims, they're headlined by AJ Fletcher and Ange Lusa. I'm not sure who that is, TBH. But AJ Fletcher's cornered by Dustin Poirier, so I'm with it.
Yeah.
The prelims are Sean Woodson and Luis Saldana. That's a really fun fight. Sean Woodson's always fun, I think, anyway. But that one should be pretty back and forth, I think. I don't see that fight going to decision. Wu Yanan and Lucy Pudilova. I'm not sure. I know that Wu Yanan's got great boxing, and I'd like to see her win. Jared Gordon and Leonardo Santos. That fight should be really fun. I really like Jared Gordon. I don't know if he beats Leonardo Santos, though. I feel like he's going to end up getting knocked out, or it's going to be kind of a striking clinic, and he's going to lose by decision. But anyway, main event opener is going to be Tyson Pedro and Henry Hunsucker. That's a pretty interesting fight because Henry Hunsucker wins when you don't think he's going to. And I know Tyson's getting kind of the bandwagon back together, I guess. So I feel like this is one of those moments where Henry's like, I got to go mess someone else up now.
Yeah, I really like Tyson Pedro. I think he's a great fighter. He's fun to watch. He made me a fan of him just tuning into his fights. Didn't really know much about him, and then he got injured. He messed his knee up real bad, and that kind of kept him on the shelf, off the shelf for a little while. But for a while, like 2 years, I believe.
Yeah,
2-3 years.
At least 2 years. It had been a while. Like I forgot all about him.
Yeah. What's called? I just was wondering what happened to him. He was kind of becoming a top prospect in the sport, and then he eventually lost. He hurt his knee, and he lost to Ovince St. Preux, lost to Shogun Rua. But I mean, he comes back, and his comeback fight was against Ike Villanueva, and I'm a big fan of Ike as well. I mean, Hurricane Ike is a really hard fight to come back to, even though the people might look at Tyson and look at Ike and be like, oh, it's just a stepping stone. It's like, no, I could have easily made that a full out fight if he had the chance to, but Tyson Pedro, I feel like, is somebody in the light heavyweight division that we need, because he also has a fun personality as well. And we're not really seeing that with some of these fighters. Like, we like Yuri. Yuri's fun for sure. But Tyson's kind of a breath of fresh air. He's another, I want to say he's a New Zealander, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, seeing the New Zealand takeover now happening inside these bigger weight classes as well, like past middleweight.
And then Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, he trains with Tai, so it's kind of, it gives you to give you any idea of how much fun this guy is.
Harry Hunsucker's his last fight was a loss to Justin Tafa, and then one before that was a loss to Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, look at that dude. It's not meant. It's not gonna happen. Tyson Pedro bet the fucking house. Yeah,
I hope so.
But yeah, so I mean, he looked good in his last fight, so I mean, we'll keep going with that. But I mean, definitely tune in for that fight. That's a great opener, honestly. So,
and then there's the next one is going to be Marcin Tybura and Alexander Romanov. Tybura's tough because his grappling is always going to be really good, but I feel like lately he's shown that his hands are not bad as well.
Yeah.
So I'm siding with him. I know he's the favorite, so it's kind of the safe bet, but that's who I'm going with.
Okay, yeah, probably Marcin on that one too, because Romanov's more of a grappler, correct?
I don't remember. I know I've seen him fight a couple times.
Yeah,
I can check.
So,
what the deal?
But yeah, Marcin is definitely shown to be a top 10 guy. He's kind of been all over the place as well. The losses that he's lost in have really hurt him, but he's always been able to bounce back. He's been around the UFC for a while now, it feels like, so it's kind of like he's kind of in limbo if he's going to be a top prospect in the, not really prospect, I would say, but more of like a top heavyweight, So the fights that he should win, he hasn't won, and so we're just kind of wait to see with that.
Yeah, with Romanov, it's tough because it's like he's got a TKO win over Jared Vanderbilt. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then he's got a submission win over Chase Sherman. And it's like, is that cool? Or is it just Chase Sherman? I hate saying that about Chase Sharman, but I'm just haven't been impressed by him lately. So, yeah, it does look like he kind of errs on the side of submission, and I'm cool with that. But Marcin Tybura's shown that he's ready to start fighting these top guys.
Yeah.
And I think this fight will get him there. So I think he does get the win. I think it'll get him there. And then we have Jose Aldo and Merab Dvalishvili.
That's a fun fight. That is a great
Hopefully.
fight. I think it's gonna be a great fight.
I could see Merab using his wrestling.
I could see him trying to.
You don't think he can get past Jose Aldo?
No,
with his shots.
No, I really don't. The reason why he got past it with Marlon Moraes is because Marlon is a terrible gas tank, and I am kind of like, I probably sound like a casual right now. I don't care. It's the fucking truth. He got rocked, and if you get rocked by somebody like Jose Aldo, I don't think you're able to get past that. I think Jose has such a great fight IQ whenever he hurts somebody, and everything that's good about Marlon Moraes that was up until he got tired in that fight is what Jose Aldo has. Merab's a great fighter. It's hard to say he's a lot of fun to watch because he is a very dominant wrestler. He's a very dominant grappler. So he has a certain style that wins and bites, but his fight against Marlon kind of showed those openings on the feet. I think it's like a lot of people said, if this was a 5-round fight, 100% Merab, you know?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And it's like, I think with Jose Aldo, though, he's still just a freaking dog, you know? He has everything that he has all the tools to be a world champion. And I think he's going to go out there and prove that, you know? He's so fast, super powerful. He's still, we've never really seen him get out of his prime before. So, I mean, he had a slump, but everybody has a slump in their career whenever you're at the top for so long. And so I'm still going Jose Aldo. I think he's going to knock him out like the second round, honestly.
I wouldn't say that he's still in his prime.
Right.
Because he's not finishing guys like he used to.
Yeah.
He's got finishes. He finished Jeremy Stevens.
As a featherweight, though.
And someone else. Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is it's been a while since he's finished somebody the way he used to.
Yeah.
So I definitely think he is out of his prime. It's definitely a second prime.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Rob's something else.
He is something else. I won't deny that.
It's hard to go against Jose Aldo because it's Jose Aldo, but it's also hard to go against Merab because it's Merab.
Yeah.
Like it is a very fun fight. I think it should be really close as far as the betting odds go. Just keep it interesting though. I'm gonna go Merab decision. I could even see it being submission, to be honest. Bless you.
Thank you.
And that sneeze takes us to Paulo Costa and Luke Rock.
I forgot about this fight. We just talked about this too.
Yeah, somebody described it as two problematic fighters in the middleweight division.
Yeah.
And yes, both are very problematic.
But not in the good way.
Not in a good way.
No.
Paulo Costa can't make weight, and Luke Rockhold, who freaking knows? If it's an injury, if it's a freaking... Is he actually going to fight? Who knows?
Luke Rockhold is a special case of a great fighter. Like he's a phenomenal grappler, but then we see him trying to stand up and then he gets knocked out.
And other times you see him stand up and it's like he's a freaking karate wizard or something.
I've seen a lot of people question his chin. I mean, let me see you take a punch from fucking Yoel Romero
or
and
Jan
eat that.
Blachowicz.
Or Michael Bisping. I mean, Michael Bisping might not be the guy for the most clean knockouts, but he hits like a fucking truck. He was a boxer. He knows how to place his power in certain punches. But Paulo Costa, I mean, is he gonna show up? Is he gonna be on weight this time? Is he gonna...
I do not expect this to take place at 185.
Honestly, if I was Luke and he showed up over 185, say, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Like we can do 190. I wouldn't take it. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Like,
he needs to start freaking dealing with the consequences of not being a professional.
Yeah, the last I heard about him, Dana White's gonna force him to go up to 205. That didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Yeah,
it needs to happen.
Yeah, I think he would be much better at 205. He also would have to fight guys his size and not be a fucking bully the whole time.
Do you imagine Alexander Gustafsson is like, all right, this is my last fight. I don't know if I'm going to do anything after this because I keep losing. Yeah. Give him Paulo Costa.
I think Paulo Costa beats the shit out of him.
You do?
Yeah, I really do.
I think that'd be a fun fight.
It would be a very fun fight, but we just saw what Nikita Krylov did him. And so I understand styles make fights, but I mean, with Paulo's style and how Alexander has not been able to handle pressure lately, and it happens as you get older as a fighter, you know. But yeah, Luke Rockhold, he is a phenomenal grappler, and so is Paulo Costa though. We can't deny that. Paulo Costa is a fucking freak of nature.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's just a moron.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. I don't know what it is. Like he has all the tools to be a great fighter, and he is a great fighter. He just like he has no work ethic for how good he is. You know, I think he has disciplinary issues, and that's just gonna be it. But Paulo Costa creates a lot of problems for somebody like Luke Rockhold. Holy fuck, cannot get that shit out. Yeah, like Luke has he been had a questionable chin? In some ways, yes, I guess. I mean, I've never. It's like the people say the same shit about Cody Garbrandt. Like he hasn't been hit by some hard fucking hitters, you know.
Yeah, I don't. When someone gets knocked out, it's like you do realize what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like, of course, you're gonna get knocked out at some point.
Yeah, it's like Marvin Eastman had a questionable chin. Like you know, like that dude literally like when who was it, Lindell? What's his name? Matt
Lindland.
Yeah, Matt Lindland knocked him out. Like that punch didn't even really land. Like it just whiffed off the nose, and then he was out cold for like 2 minutes. And it's like, what the fuck just happened? Like that's a questionable chin. That is a prime example of a questionable chin. But with Luke Rockhold, like he's a great fighter. He has a lot of bad holes that he needs to work on. And I think Jason Perillo, who actually saw those holes and exposed has helped him work on those holes a lot, you know. So I'm expecting a very fun fight with this one. It's gonna be
if it happens.
If it happens, I hope it happens. I want to see Luke Rockhold back.
Yeah, and I do want to see him get a just the most perfect question mark kick knockout of his career. Make as many jokes as he possibly can about Paulo Costa and then retire.
Yeah, I would call it a career after a win like that, bro. Who gives a fuck? You got nothing left to prove. But he's gonna want to go for the title after a win like that.
He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm feeling as good as ever. I'm better than I ever have been." It's like, all the same things that everyone says.
Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, I guess that's how you feel about Jose Aldo too, though, kind of.
Like, no, because Jose Aldo's fighting all the time.
Yeah, I'm just saying in the sense of like
that he's still in. He can still compete. There's a difference. I'm saying, so with Jose Aldo, it's like he can still compete. He just can't do it the way he used to.
Right.
But he's shown that he's mentally prepared to go in there and do it in a different way, whatever it takes to win.
Did you watch his Rob Font fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
But he doesn't go in there and let me form the sentence first. He doesn't get the knockouts because he's not as quick with his reactionary strikes like he used to be.
Right.
Like you look what he did to Chad Mendez. That was amazing. Spinning around, throwing that flying knee, or not flying knee, but throwing that knee when Chad shot in on him. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that stuff anymore. Whenever he knocked out Jeremy Stevens, that was a great knockout. He knocked someone else out too. Moicano. It was Renato Moicano.
The body shot.
Yeah. Those are great, but it's not about his speed. It's just about
the reflex,
being a great fighter and standing up with those guys who take shots. No offense to them, but I don't think Rob does that. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know on that one. But with Luke Rockhold, I don't know. Every time he's in there, it's just Luke Rockhold. Yeah. We see the same thing from him for the last 10 years, you know? So I don't know. I don't expect it to be anything different than that.
Yeah. I mean,
it could be great. It could be freaking Luke Rockhold. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's a fucking hard one. Like, cause like, I don't even know who to pick on this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably go with Paulo Costa just because he is the fresher fighter.
Realistically, I would imagine he's got the physical edge.
Yeah. He's got a lot of edges in his favor. The mental edge, you can't even get to either one of them. I feel like because they're both just a bunch of fucking wild cards. There's no other way to put that. But Paulo Costa only knows one pace, and that's kill. And is Luke gonna not have the ring rust to handle that kind of pace coming at him with the power that Paulo Costa has as well, you know? So we'll just have to wait and see what's up, man. But I'm going Paulo Costa by knockout. I think he stiffs him.
Luke Rockhold by knockout.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Fuck it, man. But the upside of that is this fight is not a mid-card slump, I guess, you know?
Co-main event.
It's co-main event?
Yeah.
Bullshit, really?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. All right. I thought that was another fight. Is that really the co-main?
Yeah.
Like over Jose?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up.
That's what I was telling you earlier whenever we were talking about it, and I was like, Jose Aldo's last however many fights, almost half of them have been on free cards, and only like 3 or 4 of them he co-main evented. The rest he was earlier.
Damn.
And then one of them he was the main event.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, but I don't understand why people are expected to be more excited for Paulo Costa and Luke Rockhold than currently one of the most aggressively rising stars with Merab Dvalishvili and one of the most recognizable faces in the UFC.
What do you think about
instead Paulo Costa and Luke Rockhold, right?
Yeah. What do you think about what's his name? From Merab, who goes out there and finishes Jose Aldo? Should he get a title shot?
Yeah, because I think if you're saying that Jose Aldo should get a title shot if he wins, then same conversation for Merab. He's in the same fight as Aldo is.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same conversation. And I always kind of think that unless it's obvious that one guy shouldn't be there.
You would know something annoying though? Is that Aljamain Sterling already said he wouldn't fight Merab Dvalishvili if he.
Do they train together or what?
Yeah,
okay.
They're very like close friends.
Well, I mean, if Dvalishvili beats Aldo and if Sterling beats TJ, then I don't.
To be honest,
you're gonna have to fight Vera. I guess
get the fuck over it.
I really hate when dudes do that. I understand that's your brother.
Yeah,
brother. But you know what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hold him back from that? Screw you.
That's kind of like my thing with it though. Is like we talked with like training partners who have trained together. Like I feel that like Hayden made a good point with it when we talked to him about it. He was like, like right now we're trying to build ourselves up. Like when the day comes, like let's say we're both in the UFC and they want us to fight each other. Like I'll do it then, but it's gonna be for the right price.
Yeah,
and they both agreed on it, and it's like at least y'all both understand. Hey, if I have to fight my teammate, it's gonna have to be for a nice sum of money. Up until then, like if it's not for the championship for a lot of money, then I understand not wanting to do it. Like for the fuck of it, like Donald Cerrone and Melvin.
I was about to bring that one up.
It's a very rare case of that. Because like both those guys, it's not necessarily that they were in limbo. Melvin more than Cowboy for sure. Cowboy was on his rise up to the title. But yeah, man, you gotta fight your teammate at some point. It fucking sucks, I'm sure. But like we've talked about, if we train together and if I had to fight you, that'd be like, I mean, if it's for the belt, fuck it, it is what it is. Or if it's to get myself to the belt, then it's like no hard feelings, but we got to do this.
And I would never want to be the reason that they had to figure something else out for you. If I were in the position of like I'm the champion or I should get the next one, the next shot. And they're like, oh, well, you could fight him instead. I'd be like, okay, cool. Because if I say no and that ruins the next step for your career, I'd freaking hate myself for it.
Yeah. Or look at DC. He went down to fucking 205 for it.
So he didn't. Yeah. And I think if you're not going to fight your friend, go to a different weight class, which you should have done in the first place, to be honest, because you knew you weren't going to fight your friend.
How do you think Aljamain would do at 145?
He's big. So I think he'd be all right. He's got great wrestling, and his striking has never looked really bad. Right. So I think he'd be all right. Do I think he could beat Volkanovski? Absolutely not.
No.
If he gets Volkanovski's back, though, I don't know. I don't think Volkanovski gets out of Sterling's back mount the way he did, the way he handled Ortega's guillotine.
I don't know.
His triangle. I don't know. Sterling's back mount is something else.
It won him the championship.
Yeah, and like I've always been a big Sterling fan up until the whole deal with him, just that whole thing. And it's not that I wasn't a fan; it's just that it's an annoying situation.
Yeah.
But when he had Jan's back over half of that fight, and you could see Jan's face, like he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, holy crap, Sterling has an amazing back mount.
Yeah,
and I'm just not realizing it.
Yeah, a lot of these wrestlers are really good at that stuff. Like Michael White, you don't want that dude on your back, guaranteed. So yeah, it just reminded me of a conversation we've had before.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So on to the main event. This one's a good fight. This one's a great fight. You have a rematch between Kamaru Usman defending his belt against Leon Edwards, and I've been looking forward to this fight since the talks were to finally give Leon the next title shot.
I've been looking forward to this fight when the talks weren't to give Leon Edwards the title shot.
Oh,
I don't know why it took so long.
Oh, but the reason why I was excited because I'm like, okay, cool, he's finally getting it.
Finally.
You know? Yeah. After
what is he like? 10 straight wins now?
I was gonna ask if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because my God, that dude had to win so many freaking fights before they even considered him.
They almost
for the
cut
title
him.
shot.
You remember that shit? They really like the getting Leon Edwards to the fucking title has been ridiculous. Like he's beaten everybody and he's beaten everybody decisively. And at one point, whenever Hosma was on his rise, and this is during COVID, they asked Leon Edwards, "Hey, will you fight him?" And he said no. They're like, "If you don't fight him, we're gonna cut you." Which is how fucked up is that cutting like your number 2 welterweight out of the division because he won't fight this prospect. He's not even ranked at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean now he's ranked obviously, but he still has a lot of things to work on. Hosma is so much fun to watch. I love watching him. Should he have been fighting Leon Edwards? Fuck no. But I mean, dude, with Leon Edwards though, I mean, he's so technically sound, and he's like, I don't think there's besides the Nate Diaz wobble that he in the 5th round,
in the last minute of a 5-round war.
Yeah,
war for him.
Yeah, I was
having to go exert that amount of energy is pretty intense.
That dude was out there beating the shit out of Nate Diaz, and people forget
for 24 minutes.
Yeah. And what did Nate Diaz do?
Sorry, he got a little tired and got caught by another professional fighter.
Yeah, but Nate Diaz got the shit beat out of him that fight. I don't know, man. It's just something else. But with this fight though, back on track. Leon Edwards is
back on track.
Yeah,
it is. If you're real, it's 10 fights because the Bilal eye poke.
Okay.
But it's technically 9 wins, but it's 10 fights.
Okay. Yeah, he's beating the shit out of Bilal on that one too. Yeah,
10 straight wins because he was winning that fight
quickly, you know. And I've learned to respect Bilal Muhammad recently too. But he was Leon Edwards was putting it on him, and he even said, "I'm a slow starter. I'm gonna knock that dude out."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm a slow starter, and if I was beating you in the first 2 rounds, there's no way you're gonna catch up in the 3rd and 4th."
No, over the 5th. I mean that was like. But yeah, Leon Edwards is so technically sound. He's so good at everything. I mean, he learned backstage before his fight against Nate Diaz how to do Muay Thai sweeps. And stuff like that. Like he was just like he was having fun with it. And Kamaru Usman, who has kind of reinvented himself as a mixed martial artist, you know.
Yeah, not just a really good wrestler.
Yeah, and not what won him the belt. That dude's out there knocking people out, and he's probably it's hard to call him the most exciting champ since we haven't seen him defend yet. Has he defended yet this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Usman?
Yeah.
Covington.
Okay, that's bad, right? That was like early in the year, right?
Yeah.
And so he suffered a hand injury, and that's why.
I would say he's the most exciting champ.
Yeah, I think he's gonna remind everybody that he is. But it's hard because I really want Leon Edwards to win this fight.
I do too. I want Edwards to win this fight, and then I don't know what his contract is looking like.
Yeah,
but I imagine he's coming to the end of it because they're not working with him very well.
No,
but if he can finish out his contract as the champion, whatever that means, whether it's retiring from the UFC or if this is his last fight and they don't want to work in a championship clause, go to Bellator. Go hang out with your brother, Fabian.
I think Fabian got signed to the UFC.
He did?
Yep.
Well done.
I want to say he did.
He's freaking good, too.
Yeah, he is.
He's big.
Yeah.
He's huge.
See that up kick knockout he
got?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I wanted him to win, and I want him to do something else.
If he wins, though...
I want him to not be in the UFC. If the UFC is going to treat him that way when he's that good, and it's obvious he's that good, I don't want him there. Because I want him to be in a better organization that'll treat him better.
If he wins, though, I want to see him rematch Nate. I want Nate to beat Hazmat and just fuck up everything.
I know.
Dude, you know how much fun that would be?
I hate saying something negative towards the Diaz brothers, but I've never liked them.
Yeah.
I am a fan of what they do and who they are, but I've never liked the idea that they are elite fighters.
Yeah.
They are great fighters. Back in the day, they may have been elite. They haven't been elite or great in a very long time.
Right.
And yet we still talk about them like they're the GOATs, and I do not get it.
Yeah, I know. I think you're completely right to say that. I mean, Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor. He beat Anthony Pettis, but when was the last time he won a fight and made it look good besides that, you know? I don't know.
And that Conor McGregor fight didn't look good for him, really.
Yeah, he was getting beat up, and then
By a smaller guy, a much smaller guy.
Yeah, and then he rocked Conor, and then he got the choke because Conor went for a takedown. What is that? Fucking, what did he say one time? He's like, he shot like a bitch. That's what he said, like a dusty bitch. And so yeah, man, it's just another fucking, I don't know. It's a weird one with this one. I like both these fighters. I do think Kamaru is a much more exciting fighter, to be honest with you.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards is a great fighter. He's very, very well rounded, and I mean, just same reason I like GSP. He's going to use whatever tools it takes to win him the fight, and if you can't keep up, that's not his fault.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It's a hard one because I feel like it does more for Kamaru Usman's legacy if he wins, but it does more for the division if Leon Edwards wins.
If I'm being real, that's why I want Kamaru to lose.
Yeah.
Not just because I like Leon Edwards, but because if Kamaru wins this, he's just that much closer to surpassing GSP, and I don't want that.
Yeah, and I think he's on his way, though.
He really is. He really freaking is, and I don't want it.
I think at one point it's going to be, if he wins this fight, we have to seriously put him, like, up there. Like, he is already up there.
Yeah.
But then how close is he to beating GSP's record?
He's still a handful of, are you talking record or title defenses?
Title defenses.
He's still a handful behind. Not a lot, but I think it's more than like
How
4.
many did GSP have?
I think I just saw it too, and it's like,
because GSP, I mean, when it comes to the welterweights, like GSP is the GOAT. Like, he's the greatest welterweight to ever do it. I mean, that's going against legends like, like Matt Hughes, Pat Miletich, all these guys, and they were all phenomenal champions as well. But with GSP, though, I mean, when it comes to how he holds himself as a person in the octagon and on the outside, it was just like, that guy is the guy 100%. Like, and so Kamaru Usman doing what he is, it's like, and he's finishing these guys as well. He's showing that he's evolving his game, working with Trevor Whitman, who's arguably the best MMA coach in the world right now.
GSP has 13 title defenses.
13?
Yeah.
Does that include winning the title? No, he has 13. Well, okay.
And Usman got it from Woodley, right?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Yeah,
so if he wins, he would have 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would need 7 more. He motherfucker really had 13.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even sound right, but
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, and what's even crazier is he's not number 1.
Yeah.
With most title defenses.
Oh yeah, with Anderson.
Yeah, and I think Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah.
Has the most, and then John Jones is up there. But yeah, GSP's second. Anderson's like 4th or 5th or something. Yeah. But I know for a while it was like him and Anderson who were tied for first.
I think what's hard too, though, is because of recency bias. That's why we're so quick to call Kamaru Usman the greatest welterweight of all time. Some people are.
Not this guy.
So yeah, the hardcore fans.
Stuck in the past.
But I feel like with that. If Kamaru Usman is able to get past Leon, I mean, just keep clearing out the division. But I think he's on the road to being the greatest welterweight of all time.
Clear out the division and then go
do it again.
Fight Izzy or whoever beats Izzy.
He talked about fighting Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, and I don't get that at all.
I'm happy he stopped calling for the Canelo fight though.
Yeah, I'm done with MMA fighters, current and good MMA fighters. Relevant MMA fighters going to boxing. No, we do not need that. Masvidal, you can go over to boxing.
Okay with that.
I couldn't care less.
Sean O'Malley called out Tank a while back. Did you ever see that?
He'd get knocked out. Oh my god, he'd get knocked out. Oh, he'd get knocked out so fast.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good at all.
Mm-mm.
No,
I'd say it doesn't make it past the 3rd round.
No,
there's no way.
Tank is a fucking beast.
I don't care how rangy Sean O'Malley is. Tank is used to that, and he'll get through it because this is boxing, not MMA.
Yeah, I bet you if Kamaru Usman didn't have the personality of a piece of bread, then he would have been able to get that Canelo fight, though.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Dana worked with Conor on it, so.
I think after that fight, though, I'll never do this again. And I'm like, you're fucking up. Honestly, you're missing on so much money for this shit. But I don't know. That's just how I see it. I'm like, people like this shit. They want to see it. Like finding out Ngannou, one of the clauses he wanted in his contract was to be able to be a true independent contractor and be able to fight and boxing and stuff like that. He wanted to box, and I'm like, dude, just let it happen. Like, why not? That dude is a fucking
Yeah,
force.
it does
like,
nothing but good for you. Oh, he
Yeah.
might lose in a different sport. Of
Yeah.
course, no one's going to hold it against him for it.
Yeah.
I've never understood Dana White's issue with, oh, Kamaru, if he went over there and fought Canelo, he would just lose, and that would make us look bad. How?
Yeah.
How does that make you look bad? I don't get that, but whatever, man.
I don't know, man. It needs to happen more though. I mean, fuck, dude.
I'm always down for cross promotion.
I wish these fighters
cool.
were about that shit and were like, I'm just trying to get the bag. It's like, nah, fuck that. I'll show up to your gym and we can get in
AJ
there.
McKee, he's freaking calling out anybody.
Yeah.
Well, he was. Now he's only got one person on his mind. But he was like, yeah, let me fight the UFC champs. I'll fight every single one of them. I don't care. And of course, it's not gonna happen. But
yeah, I'm telling you, man, just show up to their gym, be like, let's spar. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, let's see who's
videotape
the
it,
good.
put it on the internet.
Get everybody out. We're just fucking. We'll keep it. It's very Rocky 3 style, you know.
Yeah.
I love that shit, dude.
Was it Rocky? What do you mean Rocky 3?
Sorry, Rocky 2. Rocky 2 with him and Apollo.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah, at the end when they're just like the freeze frame right there, throwing the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I thought you were trying to reference the Tommy gun fight in the street.
Oh yeah, that too. Fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
Get some like really shitty like Don King lookalike in there.
Yeah.
Make it real fun. You see the Mike Tyson show they're coming out with? Not the mysteries one, but the actual show.
Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out.
It's out. It's supposed to come out, right? I'm probably gonna watch that. So maybe we can review that. It'd be fun.
If anyone cares, let us know. Follow our Instagram. That's UFC 278.
Yep.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think about Kamaru Usman. If he wins, is he the best? Let us know. Follow us at Devin the Bear on Instagram. Follow our YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, any of the different things. All of the things, we are on them.